But I did want to. There was all this talk about overtime this week. Just real quick, I came up with a few different overtime ideas. So I wanted to see what you kind of thought of them.
Yeah, well, first let's just run down. So overtime in the NFL in the playoffs is the same as it is in the regular season, which is that the team that gets the ball first, if they score a touchdown, the game's over, which is obviously what happened. So that when something like that happens, it obviously sparked a whole bunch of debate this week about, they got to change the overtime rules. They got to, every time a game goes to overtime like that, that's what happens. And this happened to the Chiefs. They were on the losing end of it a few years ago against New England, where New England went down, scored a touchdown, and won the game. So go ahead.
Okay. The first one I have, I just call this one the shootout. You have 2-point tries until somebody wins. And then if you wanted to speed things up after like 2 or 3 tries, you start taking guys off the field. So you can only have like 10 guys on the field and then 9 guys on the field just to like get it to end. So it's just, so like so one team gets the ball on the 2-yard line, they run a play. If they score, they get the 2 points. If the other team doesn't score, then they lose the game. But if they get 2, then, we kind of like college overtime. It's just like we're going for 2, just because that way it would only be one play. I don't think everybody wouldn't be getting totally exhausted, and you could hopefully end it quickly. Let's see. And you could do different things where like the team with the better record gets the ball first in overtime, or the visiting team gets the ball first in overtime, like Colin Cowherd was suggesting. Let's see. 7-minute overtime. Both teams get a shot. If one team's ahead, they win. And if not, you just play out the rest of the 7 minutes until somebody gets ahead. Or like if both teams score, then it becomes sudden death, I think. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Then the other one that I kind of like this one. 3 minutes to score. Okay. So you do a coin toss, or you could do an alternate way, like, the visiting team gets the ball first, whatever. You get the ball at your own 35-yard line. You have 2 timeouts. You got 3 minutes to score. Okay. Then the next team would get 3 minutes. If you score with, and there's still time on the clock, then I think the other team could either, like, you could do a thing where the other team goes, okay, well, you can try to score with the rest of this time, or you can get the 3 minutes to score or something like that. I forget how I was going to do it, but yeah. And then like if it's, again, it's kind of like what I was saying. The first team scores, and then if you don't score to at least tie the game, you lose. I don't know. I was trying to. Those things get kind of confusing. Like I was trying to think of like maybe either you get the rest of that time, like so. If one team scores, then you can use the rest of that time plus the 3 minutes to try to score, or you just say, I'll take the 3 minutes, or I'll take the rest of this time. But like, if you get a if you get a turnover or something, then you would get 3 minutes tacked on. I don't know. It got a little convoluted, but I don't know. I was trying to think of stuff where like, because I think everyone was kind of glossing over like, well, we just want them to keep playing. It's like, no, guys, you don't want to do that because you're going to ruin the next week because everybody's going to be exhausted. So I don't think a lot of people were considering that when they were complaining about the overtime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree that both teams should get the ball. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't have a problem if they want to adapt it. But I agree with you. My biggest concern is the game going on too long. And so did you say you wanted to do, one of your ideas was a 7-minute overtime?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
that was the reason why, because I don't want them to be playing forever.
Yeah. I don't think 7 minutes is bad. I mean, I've suggested for years, for 20 years now, that the best way to do it would be just like the NBA, do another 5 minutes, because, if you put 5 minutes on the clock, you bring in strategy, because it's like, okay, you want to score if you get the ball first, but you don't want to score too quickly. You know what I mean? So I'm not opposed to doing 5 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever it is. That way,
and then that way there might be a better chance of the other team getting the ball, but it's still you still feel like it's kind of fair,
Right.
I mean, and again, it's like I don't want to be one of those people that just says, oh, well, just win the game in regulation. You had all the regulation, or just make a stop on defense. Obviously, that's a lot harder, especially nowadays with the way offenses are. But it's just kind of the Bills blew the end of that game. They blew the last 13 seconds. They probably should have won the game. I mean, that's why that's such a crushing loss. Like you probably should have won. It's not. And to be honest, you could almost make an argument. Maybe this is a little nuts. In Bills history, maybe that's worse than them missing the field goal in the Super Bowl because it was like a 47-yard field goal. I mean, I feel like this game they should have won.
Right.
Like it was right there, So.
Yeah. No. I get it. I understand that they want to have both teams have the ball. I can understand that. I also don't have a problem with if they go down and score a touchdown. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You got to, if you hold them to a field goal there, you still have a shot. So, I'm not in the, we need to change the rules, and I don't know that the NFL I don't know that they will change this rule very quickly. We'll see. But,
I mean, I was in favor of the way they originally changed it, whatever it was a few years ago, when it's like, all right, you got to score a touchdown to end the game. You can't just kick a field goal. I was like, all right, okay, that makes sense.
I don't have a problem, or I do think it's a good idea though to make it different for the playoffs.
Yes, I agree.
I think I have no problem.
I was even thinking this in the Super Bowl. Do another 10-minute period. And then at the end, who's ever ahead, because it's the Super Bowl and there's no game, there's no next game,
right?
So
yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think it should be different. The playoffs are different than the regular season. The regular season we can't play forever. We'll take the tie. It's fine. I understand that, but yeah, the playoffs I think should be different. But
yeah, I mean, I would in the regular season, I would be in favor of them just doing 7 minutes instead of 10, chop off a few minutes because, you don't want these teams to be exhausted.
It's true. Yeah, they really don't need. It really doesn't need to be very long.
Yeah.